welcome back to Hunter Tune. Today we're going to be working on an EK Sedan. It's a 4-door with a turbo D16 Y8. So this car is pretty clean. He said he redid the whole car. He said he got it. It was completely gutted. He went through and did pretty much putting all new interior in it, and awesome little power plant here. So D16 Y8 with a 1320 ram horn manifold. Still has power steering. Has cheaper eBay gate and turbo. Big 3-inch exhaust all the way back. He says it's got a full exhaust on it. Got a G plus radiator here, 1000cc injector, 4-bar map sensor, tile knockoff blow off. Got some VMS plug wires here. He says he's got some BKR7E spark plugs in it. We'll just have to take those out and double check the gap on them. And then we're gonna set the ignition timing. That's kind of where we're gonna start. He said he checked all the fluids before he came. He's an avid watcher of the channel, so he knows check the fluids before you come in. And yeah, so also has adjustable fuel pressure regulator that he said he already set to around 45 PSI or 40. So we're gonna get this stuff checked out. Like I said, first we're gonna start by pulling the plugs, kind of checking our gaps out, and then we'll move on to setting the ignition timing. And we'll probably also plug off this port on the throttle body, because this is not a vacuum leak, but it's a boost leak. So it will not leak in vacuum, but once the turbo spools up, air will leak out of that port coming out of here, which typically goes to like your evap canister and stuff like that. But we're just gonna cap that off and go from there. So he did actually say that the throttle was having issues too. This throttle is kind of sticky. Like it's just doesn't really want to come off of idle. So maybe we can address that, maybe we won't. He said it wasn't really having issues right now, but it was a couple days ago. So we'll kind of just tune on it and see where we go from here. But like I said, that is really kind of sticky. It's hard to move it. So maybe we'll check that out. But like I said, first things first, we'll do that. Got my laptop in the car already. This car is on Hondata S300 E85. We should make some pretty good power today, I'm hoping. So alrighty guys, so we got the computer hooked up to the car here, and we're just gonna go through everything, just logging kind of some basic stuff here. And you can see our throttle position is at 0, and it goes all the way to 109. I was actually talking about this on one of the last videos. We had a B-Series turbo car, and it was cutting out when it went over 100% throttle. So we got to make sure that our TPS is synced on the tune here. So we're just going to read on here, and then we're going to upload that change now that we scaled the TPS, and we should be able to go back to the display. And now we are not going over 100, but like I said, that throttle is kind of weird. So currently we're going at 96. We can try to read it one more time. Read at idle, then read wide open, upload, display. Now we can almost get 199, 98. So yeah, that's probably as good as that's going to get you, because it's kind of messed up on the throttle cable. Cranking trim, we have 20% in it. This car I noticed when it came off of the trailer that it was a little hard starting when it was cold, so we can actually adjust the cranking pulse down here. You can also add cranking trim into it, but the cranking base pulse is really kind of what's going to give you your your better startups and stuff like that. So we're just gonna adjust this by like 20% on the cranking base, and we'll kind of see how that does. It's kind of hard right now, being that the car kind of has some heat in it, to adjust that kind of stuff. It's a little bit difficult, and especially when these guys are here, I don't really have the next day with the car. So I usually tell people, like when they come in for tuning, that you can always email, or I'll have the file saved, and if something needs to be adjusted or corrected afterwards, say the weather gets a little colder and it starts hard or whatever, I can usually email a revised map to these customers. So yeah, anyways, it does have a base map in it right now. We're gonna have to go through and sync the ignition timing, but currently this map has like no timing at all in it. And when I say no timing, I mean like 0 degrees. and about 13 degrees at 15 pounds. It is on E85, so I'm going to adjust all these ignition tables, get them all synced up and happy where I think they're going to want to be. Same thing with the VTEC side. We're going to go through and adjust all those ignition values. We'll start off small, work our way up, like I always say. And then, yeah, just going to kind of go through here and just make sure, like, it does have the 4-bar map sensor adjusted here. It does have a 4-port boost controller on it, so we're going to try to adjust and play with that today. We're probably going to have the duty cycle completely off, turn the boost controller off, see what it makes for boost, and then slowly adjust from there. And then we can dial in our boost by gear settings down here once we figure out where the duty cycle wants to be versus what pressure. Then we can fill out our pressure versus duty cycle table here. So check our boost cut here. It's at 15 pounds. That's probably good for now, until we kind of get this thing lined out and figure out where it's going to want to be. Fuel trims, we already went through that. Idle, that seems good. All right, so like I said, we're gonna upload these changes. And gonna go online, set timing. So now our timing is locked at 16 degrees. I already have the light out there, so we're gonna go through and dial the light in. And I already did have to take the spark plugs out of this thing, and we gapped them down to about 16 thousandths. Went pretty small just so we don't have to pull them back out again. And as you guys can see, even with that small gap, car runs fine. Idle's good, everything like that. So now we're going to set our ignition timing. So we're going to set the gun to 16 degrees, and then we're going to shoot for top dead center on the engine. Alrighty guys, so we are moving on. I kind of went through some of the cruising tables here and tried to straighten some of that out. It was a little lean coming into boost, so had to add quite a bit of fuel here. Hopefully we'll be able to line that out once we start rolling a little bit more. Get the, like I said, I just kind of tipped into it a little bit, and it was like 15.8 coming into boost, so had to add quite a bit of fuel coming into boost here. We're gonna go from there and kind of see how this thing's gonna act. I think I gotta turn the boost controller off. I'm going to, at least. We'll kind of see where it ends up with no boost, or no duty cycle, I should say. Spots yet cruising, like right here, it's popping a little bit, so we're just kind of working some of that out. We're going to do a pull here with no vtec, kind of see where the boost is and everything like that with no boost control. So we'll record on the Hondata and on the Dyno. So that run, 5 grand, we were making about 11 pounds of boost, 10 pounds of boost. It definitely started walking lean once we got into some boost. So I think above like 6 pounds of boost, we're going to have to add some more fuel into this thing. This is why we start small and work our way up. Making sure our temperatures are still good, which they are. We're going to add some more fuel even from here above like 15 pounds. We're going to kind of try to scale our map, so as the turbo builds up, it's going to get more and more and more and more and more fuel. That's just a good like safety thing to start with, and then you can fine tune it afterwards. So this is still no V. We're just going to kind of, so we're still making sure our temperatures are all good. This car did run a little hot because I forgot to turn the manual fan switch on over there. let's try to revert this sensor. So maximum boost currently is at 100% duty. Let's try maximum boost at 0% duty with this solenoid configuration. If this doesn't fix it, then we have something going on with the controller, the way it's plumbed or the wiring or something. So we're gonna try that quick. We might raise our cut to like 18 just to see if this boost will level out. Alright, we're still logging here, still 185 degrees. Keeps hitting the boost cut. That was 18-pound boost cut right there, so we're gonna have to check out the solenoid and the wiring and stuff, see what's going on with it. Alright guys, so I'm kind of checking out the Speed Factory 4-port here. They're kind of opposite of like a normal 4-port, where the signal line coming into the solenoid is actually like on the top, instead of feeding through the bottom and then going through here to the top, to the bottom of the gate. So this one looks like it may be flip-flopped from what I can tell, but I'm not sure. Usually the bottom of the solenoid goes to the bottom of the wastegate on the one side, so, and this was going to the bottom instead of this one. So we're gonna double check here and just make sure that the wastegate opens. I'm just gonna put compressed air into the line, listen for the valve to open, and if it does, then we're gonna check out the plumbing again, and yeah. So the solenoid here is labeled like 2, 4, and then on this side it's going to be like 1 and 3. So we'll go through and double check the plumbing once we know the wastegate works. Alrighty guys, so we did end up testing the wastegate with compressed air, and I was blowing into it, and it was definitely taking quite a bit of air to open the wastegate, but I did hear the gate click open. The little valve in there, you can hear it rattling around when it opens. So it is functioning, but I think it just has a really stiff spring in it. So what we're gonna do is we're eliminating the 4-port from the equation here, and we're just gonna run the line to the bottom of the gate and then leave the top of the wastegate open to atmosphere here. So that's what we're gonna do for a poll, just to kind of see where the boost is on the wastegate. So I'm probably gonna raise the cut to like 25 pounds and richen up the mixture a little bit just to be safe, and then see if we can get the boost to level. Might just be a 20-pound wastegate spring, we don't know. Alright guys, so we got the boost figured out, and making about 15 to 16 pounds right now, and this thing is an animal. You can see we've done a couple of runs here, just kind of running up, making sure the fueling and everything is good, and then these are the runs that we actually spun out a little farther, one with no VTEC, and then these are with VTEC. So this thing on pretty low boost is making 340 wheel horsepower, like crazy. Single cams are usually kind of tough to get power out of, but this thing must have a good cam in it and a good combination of it. I mean, the way the curve is painting, guys, it looks amazing. So they must have this cam figured out. I don't know exactly what gear or what cam is actually in it, because it has the stock gear. When we check the ignition timing, the distributor is kind of like in the middle, so I think, I mean, it doesn't really lope a lot. It's kind of hard to tell what cam is in it, but it definitely has a camshaft, because a stock cam, I don't care what kind of frickin' turbo it is, it's not going to make 340 wheel. These single cams need a good camshaft combination, and it's usually kind of tough to find that. So this thing works pretty good. We're going to try to get this boost controller figured out after I do probably one more pull at this boost level to make sure that our fuel is good. I just made some adjustments above 6,500, kind of where the fuel was getting rich. So we're going to adjust that, see what it does to the power curve, and then come back to it. Hopefully getting this boost controller to work. Alrighty guys, so we are moving on, and I'm going through the boost control tables on the Hondata here, and I actually kind of spaced out, didn't have the frequency set right on the boost controller, and Speed Factory actually recommends 25 to 30 for like a starting frequency. So we're going to set the variable frequency and the duty cycle at 1 or 5, something small, and then we'll be able to figure out maximum boost at 0 or maximum boost at 100 duty cycle just by doing 2 pulls, or 1 if we're lucky. We have a 50-50 chance to figure out where the solenoid configuration wants to be. But now that we have that set up, we can upload and try again with the boost controller back up. So we got the solenoid working. Like I said, it was a 50-50 shot on whether it's 0% for all the boost or 100%. So we had to change that. Once we did, we got it working. And now we just did a pull on 25% duty cycle, and it made about 3 more pounds of boost. So we're gonna try 30, see where that gets us, and then I'm going to set up the duty cycle versus boost table, so he can later just type in what boost he wants and it'll shoot to exactly that boost. Another thing too that could benefit this car possibly is changing that wastegate spring to something smaller. Sorry, lighting. Because the real benefit of a 4-port controller like this is you can run as low as like 5 pounds of boost and as high as like 40. So you can have that adjustability, versus with the 15-pound spring, we can only go as low as 15. We can't go any lower than that. So if he changes the wastegate spring to like a 5-pound spring or something like that, you can have that adjustability all over the place. But single cams, for the most part, you kind of want all the boost right away anyway. These things on like 5 pounds of boost don't even get out of their own way, so it needs like 15 pounds of boost to even come alive. So, but that's something that he can probably mess with a little later. We're gonna get the solenoid configured and everything working, and then after that, we'll hopefully make some really good power. We're already making about 377, I think I saw. 377 horsepower, guys, and these curves are just looking awesome. So, can only go up from here, right? So hopefully everything holds together, and we're gonna give it a little bit more. We're about 78% into the injector already, so we're probably gonna run out of injector before anything else, but we're gonna keep going until we're out. 100% everything, right? Yep. Guys, we are making a ton of power on this single cam. This thing just works so good. It's got some magic in the motor. I don't know what it is, but it's got some magic. The last pull, about 24 pounds of boost, and we made 444 horsepower on a single cam. That's a single cam right there. So this time, I want to put 2 degrees in it to see where the timing wants to be at, and just double check my fueling and stuff like that, but we're pretty much out of injector at this point. So this pull, I think we're at 94%, which is, you know, we're on the edge, we're pushing it, but man, single cam making jam, let me tell you what. So we're gonna do one more, and we're gonna play with the timing. I gave it 2 degrees. See if it's gonna want it or not, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys, so I gave that one 2 degrees, and it picked up 20 horsepower. I didn't quite spin it as high, but you can see here the difference just from the timing. 2 degrees in it, 462 horsepower, still the same amount of boost. Oh man, it's out of injector, otherwise it's so close to 500, guys. Like, it's so close. Oh fuck. All right, guys, that single cam that we just did, wild ride. What a wild freaking power curve that thing's got. We ended up making 462 horsepower and 366 foot-pounds of torque. Cutting it off kind of early, 7,500 or so. I got the limiter on it, and this time I just wanted to give it a little pull to see like what the timing did, and it picked up big. Picked up 20 horsepower just from timing. I didn't really want to go crazy on the timing, just because more ignition you put in a single cam, the easier they kind of pop head gaskets, and he just put a head gasket in the thing. So I want it to last a little while, so he can at least go have some fun with it. And like I said, this setup is kind of lazy. It didn't really hit full boost until about 5,800, but man, when it came in hard. You could see that. So very excited. I think that was probably the highest Y8 power I've ever made. Made more on Michael's car with a Z6 crank, but this one with a Y8 crank cutting it off early, man, it's working good. So I bet you if he put a turbo on that thing and gave that thing a broader power curve, it would be a ton of fun. But like I said, it's probably a little bit lazy with the curve that's in it right now. I did want to kind of show you guys some boost control stuff before we cut today's video off. I went through and I set up his boost by gear. I set it up gear-based target. So it goes 15 pounds is up to 20% duty cycle, and then 18, etc., etc. So 18 and a half duty cycle, or pressure is 25 duty cycle, and I just kind of kept going up and up, and then set up his table down here for him. So it's not set up on this one, but on his file it is. So yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you appreciated this nasty single cam. My camera's gonna die, so I'm gonna cut it off before it does. Have a great night and a better tomorrow, guys. We will see you later.